What is up, everybody? We're back here at King Film Sports for the NFL Conference Championship picks, predictions, and betting locks after we had a pretty eventful weekend with these 4 NFL games and the College Football Championship on Monday. So first here, get to the recap, and we had a decent weekend in the video, but I will point out we had a great weekend on the Discord. Check out the Betting Locks Discord. It is link in description there. You do not want to miss out on all of the player props and college basketball bets and Australian Open bets that we are dropping at the moment, so be sure to tail those in the description there. But I'll just be going over a brief recap of these games. So we had the Texans and the Chiefs. Thought that the Texans really outplayed the Chiefs in this game, outgained Kansas City by 150 yards, but really were never in this game in the fourth quarter. And some dubious special teams play, the opening play of the game, they let the Chiefs go for 70 yards, punch the ball out, but then don't recover it, and then get a penalty on top of that. I thought that their defense for the rest of the game was fine, but a couple inopportune hits on Mahomes leads to penalties. You're always going to face that when playing the Chiefs and a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. So that just is what it is there. And as for our over bet, I thought that this one should have come home here, especially for the total number of yards in this game and penalties as well. But ultimately, just some of the times that these teams were in the red zone and got stopped really halted this over from hitting there. So it ends up being 23-14. Chiefs advance 37 total points in that one. Then the one that looks very idiotic now, the Commanders-Lions. We took the under 56 in this one. Usually these high totals go under, but this one so high and it could not be high enough. It almost hit at halftime, that being the over, just because this Lions defense, we knew that it was so bad and they were leaking oil early on in this game here. I mean, a couple of those plays, Jaden Daniels, yes, great quarterback, but he's throwing it to a receiver in the flat or a few yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and they are just running it to the house. No defenders in sight for the Lions there. Their tackling was poor, couldn't stop the run, and could not stop the pass there. So Jaden Daniels, brilliant game, 45 points. And then the Lions offense, I really thought they should have run the ball more, and Jared Goff, a couple interceptions, and then Jamison Williams throws an interception on a trick play in the second half. So really just not the game that the Lions needed. They needed to play a perfect game on offense to hang in there, and that they couldn't do just because that defense was so bad and with the turnovers there. So a very disappointing end for this Detroit team, and the under does not even come close. Then we got to some good fortune on Sunday, and you had to lock in the Rams-Eagles. Eagles minus 5.5 right when we released a video there. It did go to -6, which ended up pushing, but then 6.5 and then 7 later on in the week there. So had to get the best of the number. If you got the 6, then you did make it out with the push. But I thought the Eagles were the much better team here, but you're seeing the limitations of Jalen Hurts at quarterback. And then also just kind of this front-running nature of the Philadelphia Eagles here, where I do not think that they give full effort at all points in the game. With their talent, they should easily be blowing out a team like the Rams, but they just could never pull away here, partially because of the weather and the passing game. But Saquon did break out a couple of huge runs. We will monitor Jalen Hurts' injury situation, as he did get rolled up on late in that game there. But ultimately, the defensive line of the Eagles did take over in this matchup there, and a few big plays, including the Kyron Williams forced fumble and the Matt Stafford forced fumble late in the game, and then the sack by Jalen Carter on the second to last play there. So ultimately, a lot of huge plays in this game. It could be argued that the Rams should have won outright here, or that the Eagles should have covered this game easily. Obviously, they do have the 2 missed extra points by Jake Elliott there, so that's an ongoing storyline in tough kicking conditions in Philadelphia this week. Then we get to the Ravens and the Bills. We had the under 52 in this matchup. Looked to be dead early because it was 21-10 at halftime, and you're thinking the Bills will continue to score, and then the Ravens will get a couple scores on the board as well. But then it did look really good going late into that game, 27-19 there. But then the Ravens do score the touchdown, and then Andrews drops the fateful 2-point conversion there. So the Bills end up winning that game, which does cover our third teaser leg there. So we went 2-1 on those, but unfortunately that's not good enough. So we did end up losing on 2 of the teasers, hit the Chiefs-Bills teaser there. But ultimately, in this game, it was just the turnovers that did the Ravens in. Lamar, a brutal pick early in that game. Then he had a fumble, which was returned by Von Miller for 40 yards. And then Mark Andrews had a fumble when it looked like they might take the lead. So ultimately, the Bills just played a clean game. I don't even think they played very well. Really were potent in the ground game, but the Bills receivers didn't have much to do in this game. I think Josh Allen threw for less than 150 yards in that matchup, so they'll have to play a lot better, but that clean style of game will be effective if they can limit the turnovers against the Chiefs and then force a couple, so we will see there, but we end up pushing on our under in that one. And with that, we get to the championship game predictions here, starting it out in the NFC with the Commanders and the Eagles. This is the third time we're going to be seeing this matchup. In the first one, in that Thursday night matchup in November, I took the Eagles -3. It ended up closing, I think, 5, and the Eagles were down early in that matchup, and Jalen Hurts not playing very well, but ultimately the ground game just opened up, and they were able to take a big lead there in that fourth quarter. We're up 26-10, actually, with a few minutes left, and then the Commanders got a garbage time touchdown, 2-point conversion to close in the game to 26-18. So that was a very odd game, and then the one that they played, I believe, in Week 16 was even weirder, with the Eagles jumping out to a 14-0 lead. Then Jalen Hurts gets injured, so then you have Kenny Pickett. And then Jaden Daniels and the Commanders turned the ball over 5 times. So the Eagles, even being +3 in turnover margin, had a couple big drops, including that one to Devontae Smith late in the game to clinch it. Then Jaden Daniels scores the touchdown late, I think with 10 seconds left. So in this one, I do not have a play on the spread. It's sitting at Eagles -6. I would like the Eagles at anything below the 6 number, so maybe at 5 or 5.5. If you're on the Commanders, their high variance playing style lends itself to you taking the money line there because they could easily win this game outright and even by a lot of points, as we saw last week in Detroit, or they might get crushed if some of those 4th downs and turnovers don't really go their way in this one. But I just think it's their 4th straight game on the road, as everyone's been talking about. Obviously played in Dallas in Week 18 and then at Tampa and at Detroit, and now in Philadelphia here. So I ultimately think that this team has been very lucky so far, especially on offense, and their defense is middling. I do not believe in Jalen Hurts, but I do think that he will do enough here for this Philadelphia team with all of their talent on offense to supplant the Commanders in this one. Wouldn't shock me if the Commanders won, so if you're taking them, once again, I say take them on the money line there or wait for the spread to go up to 7 points in this one. I just can't back Jalen Hurts to cover such a big number here, as we saw what a sweat it was last week with the Rams, but I do like the Eagles, as I just think with all of their talent, especially on that defensive line, they will be able to overwhelm Jaden Daniels and the Commanders offense there. And then we get to the AFC Championship, the one everyone's been waiting for, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead. And to be honest, I thought this one was going to be a pick'em spread, if not Bills being favored in this game. Obviously, it is the Chiefs dynasty going for the three-peat. So you could argue at home they should never be an underdog to anyone here. But in this one, I'm going to take the value in the Bills first half spread plus the half point. You can currently get this one at -110 odds there. So be on the lookout for the value in this game. I also do like the Bills money line or +2.5, whatever you're able to get later on in the week. I also took a teaser with Ohio State down to -2.5 for that national championship game against Notre Dame, and then the Bills up to +8 in this game. But I do think that Josh Allen will have to play a brilliant game against this Chiefs defense, but I think he's well equipped to do so. And I think those receivers, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins, Dalton Kincaid, are poised to go off against this Chiefs secondary, who I think is pretty overrated. Then in terms of the ground game, I think that Josh Allen has at least 10 carries for 50 yards in this matchup, and I think James Cook will have a good day on the ground as well to kind of neutralize that pass rush of the Chiefs there. So I think it's incumbent on the Bills to start out hot, start out running the ball, and establishing their will against this Chiefs team to at least get a tie at halftime, if not be winning in this one. And the Chiefs were used to the second half surge in this game here, so I just think that it's going to come down to the wire here, and especially just at halftime, I do like the value of the Bills either winning or being tied in that one there. Do not love betting against Patrick Mahomes full game, which is why I'm not fully endorsing of the Bills money line or +2.5 full game spread, but I can't fault you if you like those, and I can't fault you on the other side if you are taking the Chiefs money line or minus the couple points in this matchup just because it's Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. We've only ever seen him lose 3 times, which was to Burrow and Brady in the AFC Championship game, both of those at home, and then the Super Bowl against Tom Brady there. But other than that, he's been spectacular, especially against this Bills team. But the Bills have the blueprint. They've won 4 straight games against this Chiefs team. Really comes down to that defense against Patrick Mahomes. We saw they were great against Lamar last week, but they've got to slow down Kelsey. If he goes off for 100-plus yards again, it's going to spell trouble. And Xavier Worthy, I think, is the X factor outside, as well as stopping the run with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, and then limiting those Patrick Mahomes scrambles in this game here, along with limiting the penalties. We will monitor the refs in this matchup here, but I do think that that is a potential matchup for Kansas City. So with that being said, I'm taking the Eagles. No bet as of now in that game, but be sure to look at the Discord on Sunday because we will have player props in that one. And then we will be taking the Bills +0.5 in the first half there. Love the value of them jumping out to an early lead against this Chiefs team. And then we will see who wins this game outright. I will say the Bills, but not a lot of conviction going against Patrick Mahomes once again in the playoffs. So we will see. So let me know what you guys think of my conference championship predictions in the comments down below. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.